This is SME on Point. Thank you once again for continuing to stay with SABC News. The coronavirus has a devastating impact on the small business sector, but designers such as Nina Sedumedi have found an opportunity to keep on supplying essential products. Let's meet her via this video that she has shared with us.
My name is Nina Sedumedi, the founder of Nina Sedumedi Creations. We are a clothing brand based in Marshalltown, Joburg. COVID-19 has affected us as a clothing brand. When it started, we could see the decrease of client traffic coming to our business. Events were cancelled, like graduations. We had weddings that we were supposed to make clothes for. And when events were cancelled, that's when we realized there's something that is happening around us and we don't know what it is and the future of fashion. When the lockdown happened, we had to close business, and therefore it meant loss of income, loss of productivity, and we were very, very nervous what was the future holding for us. While we were on lockdown, the hype of using masks started to build up, and we had to come up with a mask as a business, and we had to be compliant. So we looked for our permit and we started coming slowly to work to create a mask that was reaching the health standards, which is a 3-layered mask with lining and with a filter inside and the fabric of choice.
Thank you to Nina Sedumedi. If you are also like Nina Sedumedi and you want to show the rest of South Africa what your small business is doing, please do go to my Facebook page, which is SME on Point, at SME on Point on Facebook, and upload your picture there. And we will show it to the rest of the country to see what you have been doing during this time of COVID-19. So moving right along, last night, President Ramaphosa announced that as of the 1st of May, that's next week Friday, we will be moving to stage 4 of the lockdown. This means that some sectors that are yet to be announced may trade, but they'll be subject to certain restrictions, of course. I've invited Mike Anderson, who's the CEO of the National Small Business Chamber, to chat to us about how SMEs can prepare for the partial lifting of the lockdown. And Mike is joining us via Skype. Mike, thank you so much for joining us on SME on Point. We welcome you. How have you been keeping with this lockdown?
Well, very busy, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Very grateful. Of course, doing well, but it's a tough time for small business. You know that small business is the mainstay of our economy. Yeah. It's the future of job creation. You know, we do know more than 2/3 of our population, working population, work in a small business. So importantly, you know that most small businesses don't have the resources to continue more than a month.
Yeah, so with last night's speech, there was a bit of hope that is invoked in me, knowing that this time next week, maybe some of the small businesses will start to trade. How did you see it?
Well, I think the president has done a great job from the outset. You know, he's possibly done more than any other leader around the world so quickly. And yet again, last night he made some announcements, clever announcements, you know, slow comeback to society. You know, we knew it wouldn't be a blanket comeback. Yeah. But what we do know is that majority of small business will only come back on level 3 and level 2. And a very few will have that opportunity to prosper at level 4. So, of course, we don't know when the road will end. You know, the runway is too long and we need small business to take off. And, you know, we've got to keep these workers in their jobs, and we've got to keep small business alive. And we've got to lift the relief. We've got to lift the pressures of tax to really, as a nation, go behind small business.
Mike, I'm glad that you talk about relief, because a lot of small businesses have contacted us here on SME on Point to complain about the relief measures, most complaining that it is more of a loan. And how will you pay it back if you are not trading now and you expected to pay it later? It looks like what they mostly need are grants. Do you agree with that?
Well, thank you for that. You know, there's no question funding relief is at the top of the pile right now. And the big concern, although there are some relief measures out there and funding opportunities, the big feedback that we're getting from small business South Africa, it's taking far too long. The turnaround time is taking far too long. And what we do know, and like what you say, is that the grant must be it must be at the top of the pile once again.
Yeah.
Because we don't know when SMEs or small business will have that ability to repay that loan. So grants are more important now as opposed to the loan, and you're 100% right.
I had a question from one of my colleagues who asked me about creches and nursery schools, about whether they should qualify for these relief measures. Remember that children are not going to school now, and if it's a private school or private creche, you as a parent are still required to pay, albeit some others have seen that they've been given a discount. But do you think that businesses such as early childhood development centers or creches should be part of these relief schemes, and those who do own it and are currently watching us right now, should they be giving should be they trying their hand in these relief programs?
Importantly, every single job creator in South Africa needs relief, whether you employ one person or 50 people. So I don't believe it should go anywhere beyond that. Whether you're a creche or a garden services or you work in a spaza shop, if you are a job creator, that mercurial person who's gone out there and employed others and has the ability to employ more people, we need to take care of these people.
So interestingly, we still have seen businesses such as Nina Sedumedi, who was our featured business of the week, who has found an opportunity to do masks, like many other people I've seen are now doing more masks. What kind of businesses can be born at this time? What sort of ideas should we be looking at around about now? You know, as much as we are facing problems as the SME sector, we still want to instill hope and give people, you know, ideas on what businesses they can start at this time.
A wonderful point. And to add to that, you know, I'm talking to the experts around the world now, and what's coming out now? The world's most successful companies, the world's biggest companies are going to be born in this pandemic. So what we need to do as business owners, we need to be positive, we need to stay calm, and we need to dig deep within to find new opportunities, a new way of doing things. Let's not get negative. Yes, we may lose something, we may have enormous adversity, but we as entrepreneurs are resilient. We come back and we'll do it again. But importantly, we all need to dig deep and find new opportunities in what we're doing so we can prosper and keep our employees and our workers with us.
Yeah, Mike, I've had one gentleman who sent me a video of himself that he is now delivering goods. I think he's using his bicycle. That is a mode of business that he's trying. How can we advise a business such as that one? Because I know that when I'm sitting at home, I'd really love someone to deliver my food on time to me and my groceries, that is. What kind of startup tips can you give to people like that who think that, listen, I've got a car, I can go around and deliver food here and there around the township, around the area where I'm living? What sort of tips can you give them about getting that business off the ground?
Thank you. You know what's amazing is coming through to us? The amount of positivity is coming back to us. You know, there's a lot of negativity out there, but business owners are positive. You know, we've got a restaurant in our area out here who's turned their restaurant into a food kitchen for the poor and for the hungry and for the elderly, and all the community is donating food to them. So I think the message there is, like the gentleman is doing, is look around you, look what you've got, look at resources. Don't be negative, think differently, and act on that. Try new things, do new things. That is what an entrepreneur is all about. There are amazing opportunities out there that we can all adopt. There are some businesses and some sectors that you will struggle more than others. Yes, we do know that. But every one of us out there can try and look and dig deep, and also the people around you in your business, that very small business, larger business, you know, work with your team, be a leader in your team, and work together to find solutions. Collective solutions are far better than one. So importantly, we've got to really find a way to move on beyond this, because what's important about this is what we can do now can stay with us for many years to come and be an added value to our business.
Before I let you go, Mike, I'm sure you'll share my sentiment that whatever happens, these are very uncertain times, and that even as a small business owner, you still need to stay at home if you have to, and try to keep safe, because imagine if you don't make it through this COVID-19 and then the business that you're trying to save does not survive or even take off. I'm sure you share the same sentiments about safety and precautions first.
You know, like the president said, you know, what's very important now, life prevails over anything. So we have to remain safe. But importantly, we must remain positive. And remember, to everyone, this will end. This is temporary. Adversity is temporary, and we will come out of this in a better way.
Mike Anderson, thank you so much for joining us on SME on Point. We've really enjoyed your views, and hopefully we'll be catching up later to find out what your members have been saying during this time. And we're looking forward to seeing you in stage 4, stage 3, right through to stage 1. Thank you so much. Right, that was Mike Anderson. He's with National Small Business Chamber. He was chatting us about everything that is COVID-19. As I said earlier on, if you've got ideas and small business that you're starting, please hit us up on our Facebook page, which is at SME on Point. And we will be putting up your story up on the screen, just like we did with Nina's story. But that's it from me for today. Nastasia Arendse is coming up next, and she has books on point.